All right. Of course, this online business meeting will not be possible without our sponsors. Right. So let's give thanks to our sponsors. We have First Park, Davis Paint, The Houselands, Fiesta Communities, SMDC, Durable Realty and Development Corp, Eganson Inc., A. Brown Company, and Golden Haven Memorial Parks. All right. Thank you so much to our dear sponsors. Let's now meet the Nrea Board of Trustees and Officers, Board of Advisors, and Chapter Presidents.
Recording stop. Recording in progress.
In line with our membership development program and to achieve a dynamic partnership among individuals and corporate entrepreneurs, we take pleasure in inviting you and your company to be a regular member of the National Real Estate Association, Inc., Nrea, the one-stop trade organization in the industry. The present global trend is inclusivity and not exclusivity. We, in Nrea, welcome new members regardless of nationality, belief, and membership in other organizations. Also, we are encouraging our members to become an active member of our working committees. Nrea help our members to build network. For more information, you may contact our Nrea Secretariat at telephone numbers 02-912-3492 and 725-48731. You can also reach them at their mobile and Viber numbers at 0927-923-1113 and 0965-539-2012 or email them at nrea_org@yahoo.com.
And for our house rules on this webinar, kindly mute your microphones and always turn off your cameras. Only the MCs, moderators, officers, and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. Type your questions in the chat box, and the moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken.
Let us now welcome our National President for this Nrea webinar, Mr. Red J. Rosales, National President of Nrea.
Thank you, Sir Ryan. Fellow Board of Trustees, esteemed Board of Advisors, members of the National Real Estate Associations, valued partners, and all those tuned in via Zoom and Facebook Live. It is with immense pride and excitement that we kick off the Nrea's inaugural Business Forum, marking a significant milestone in our journey to empower and elevate the Philippine real estate industry. This year's inaugural topic, 2024 Real Estate Outlook and Prospect, perfectly captures the spirit of our times. The real estate landscape is undergoing a dynamic transformation, fueled by ever-evolving trends and a rapidly changing global environment. Today's forum serves as a vital platform to navigate these enchanted waters gain invaluable insights, and equip ourselves with knowledge and tools needed to thrive in the year ahead. We are truly honored today to be joined by two of the country's most distinguished real estate luminaries, Mr. Joey BONDOC, the Director of the Research Division of the Colliers of the Philippines, and Mr. Andy MAÑALAC, Chairman and Co-founder of Havitas Development. Their expertise, coupled with their unwavering commitment to the industry, will undoubtedly provide us with invaluable perspectives in strategic guidance. A special word of gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Mr. BONDOC and Mr. MAÑALAC. Your willingness to share your knowledge and insights is a testament to your dedication to the development of Philippine real estate, and we are deeply grateful for your contributions. I encourage all of you to actively participate in the discussions that follow. Ask questions, share your experiences, and engage in open dialogue. This is your opportunity to glean knowledge from the experts, connect with industry peers, and shape the future of Philippine real estate together. Let's embark on this exciting journey of discovery. Remember, the key to success lies in embracing change, learning from the best, and staying ahead of the curve. Welcome aboard, and may the insights you gain today propel you towards a prosperous and a fulfilling year ahead. On behalf of the National Real Estate Association, thank you for joining us today, and good morning.
Thank you very much, our National President, Red Rosales. As if I was already listening to our university dean. And we are commencing with our semestral thesis, no? Parang because we are trying to tackle today investment opportunities and indicators. This is very important because the economy is growing and all of the world is looking at the Philippine economic setup. So I think this webinar is very opportune for everybody to get insights on investment. So I think we have a screen here that would discuss a little further. So I read. Nrea is offering a lowered rate for new members. This is a good announcement. This business forum is awarded 1.5 credit units for real estate brokers. And for those who would like to avail of this certificate, please be sure to log in via Zoom and must remain present during the business meeting. Please email the Secretariat your full name, REB license number, and expiry date. Again, you may screenshot this announcement for you to avail of the 1.5 credit units for real estate brokers. Okay. So let's go on, Sir Ryan.
All right. Thank you, Sir Archie. So to introduce our first special guest and speaker for the day, let's now call on one of the members of the Nrea Cebu chapter, Miss Vanessa Salvador.
Thank you, Sir Ryan, Sir Archie. Good morning, everyone. So our first speaker for today has over 30 years of real estate experience and is recognized industry thought leader and frequently invited to speak by real estate organization and investment forums here and abroad. He is the immediate past chairman of 3 consecutive years of the National Real Estate Association, Nrea, one of the biggest real estate professional organizations in the Philippines. He is currently the Havitas company representative to the Chamber of Real Estate Builders Association, CREBA, and was recently inducted as the Vice President for Housing Affairs. He is also the operating principal of Keller Williams, Manila Bay. He brings with him a stellar record in the real estate and sales leader development, having held senior positions in different Philippine real estate developers, such as Chief Advisor for Think Invest Advisory Group, a lead network in development channel of Philinvest Land, Senior Vice President for Sales and Century Properties Group, Inc., Vice President for Sales of Eaton Properties, Sales Director for Robinson's Land Corporation, and Assistant Vice President for Moldex Realty and Marketing Inc. He is a graduate of computer science from AMA Computer University and is a licensed real estate broker since 1989. He is an international realtor, member, and certified international property specialist of the National Association of Realtors USA. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Mr. Alejandro Andy S. MAÑALAC.
Good morning, Vanessa. Thank you for that. I only have 10 minutes left. I usually want to be introduced as Alejandro Mañalac Agente. That's it. I'm very proud of being in sales. Anyway, it's an honor to be invited here dito sa organization that I really love and have served for many years. So, since we have very limited time, let me start with my presentation. Kindly let me share my screen. Okay. So, again, very timely, although this would have been really, more useful if we had it last January, but things have just gone better last January. So what's in store for 2024? Before I begin, you see, every year we have trends. We have a lot of trends every year. Sometimes it continues for a couple of years. But what really is important is that we should know what drives these trends. What's the main cause na nagkakaroon ng trends? Because if we do that, we can really plan for the long term. And I have 3 guiding principles when with business, especially in real estate. Sabi nga, the secret to success in real estate is find out where the people are going, pero what kind of people? What kind of people? What is? Do they have money? Is there commerce there? Is there progress there? And are they the market? No. So find out where these people are going and be there first. Diba? Para if you really want to make money from that end, mauna ka na. There's always that risk, but then there's that bigger reward. Another thing is that you can make money in a bad market and you can also lose money in a good market. It depends on your mindset. And maybe nabanggit mo, having experienced this for the past 34 years, we've been through the different crises. And practically 2020 until 2022 has been 2 of my best years in real estate, ironically. Why? Because of the learnings that we had from the previous crisis. The secret is in learning to shift and adapt. Now, since I have a very short time, I'm going to go through the slides very fast. So just do your screenshot if you want. Now, basically, we're still, a lot of nega people always think, oh, wala na pag-asa sa Philippines. Oh, same thing pa rin. Or there's no progress. Ironically, look, we have been one of the best performers within our neighbors, especially in Southeast Asia. And not only last year, but through even during the pandemic. This is very important. You can screenshot this one. These are some of the factors that contributed to our very strong fundamentals. So, I mean, the mere fact that we fell, everybody, I mean, the whole world fell during the pandemic. The mere fact that we were able to recover immediately on the year after that shows how strong our economic fundamentals is. Now, inflation rate here, nakasulat 6.1. This was as of September, but then last January it was already at 2.9, and then they are forecasting. The economists are forecasting about 3.4, 3.9 for 2024, and yung population natin, form of government, then the age range, the median age range natin are the ones really affecting the strong economy then. No? And what else is here? So just screenshot this one, and then the different institutions have very, very positive outlook for the Philippines for 2024. Now, what drives real estate, especially residential real estate. Did it change? Una, of course, the demand driven by the population, demographics, economic factors, income levels, employment opportunities. This employment opportunities, of course, attracts people to move in those areas. BPOs, OFW remittances, and tourism. And this is what we're going to discuss. So you could program now, if you're a developer, where to go, where to build, what type of projects to build, what model, what size, what range. And for the practitioners, for the sellers, you'll know where you will be focusing your time or where you will be wasting your time. Okay. Like for example, now for the past 3 years, vacancy rates for the offices has been hovering for within the 17 to 19% vacancy rate, especially in some areas. In our area, in the Bay Area, it's been very high for the past 3 years. But to think that it has been there, despite the new projects coming in, medyo kahit pa paano na sustain yung take-up. But then there will be some influences that will affect gaano kabilis or gaano kabagal magiging take-up because of this new lifestyle, new behavior, technology, just like what we're doing now. I'm here in Bacolod. I'm able to do this productively and do this call with you. There's one, Ivy's listening now. Hi, Ivy. She's listening now from Dubai. I just saw that she's working in front of the nice pond. Millennial workforce, very different attitude of the millennial workforce, especially the Gen Z now. Mobility and then globalization. Now, with this one, okay, you see here unemployment rate is at 4.4. Guess what? It's already at 3.1, the lowest at 3.1. And hindi pa kasama dun yung underground economy natin, hindi pa kasama dun yung gig economy natin, hindi pa kasama yung mga they're not considered employed, those who are doing business online. So you see, this one really parang ito employed parang unemployed is 3.1. Growth of OFW remittances, they remitted 37.5 billion last year, growth of about 3%, which is not bad because you're basing it on a higher baseline. What else? Now, this is very important because you would know where to go, where to build, which region. I know a lot of people are not familiar with the regions, just like me, I didn't pay attention to the regions during my social studies. But you see which region are really growing. And the population, as I've mentioned earlier, this is very, 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 very important. Median age natin is about 25.7, and that is one of the youngest in the world. And you see that pyramid, this shape, this demographic profile was the same profile that Japan has, China has about 60 years ago. And combined with the infrastructure, the golden age of infrastructure that they had, this is the reason why a lot of Japanese are looking at the Philippines now. Not that they know something we don't, but they saw that this is a perfect combination. This demographic profile, infrastructure, and ngayon may technology pa. So I clamped this age na 20 to 40 years old because that is the most mobile age group, either for work, for pleasure, and that is a very big market for domestic tourism. You will find out why I'm very particular about this domestic tourism, because that's a huge market. These are the people who go around moving from one area to another, either for employment or for pleasure or for barkada, or these are the ones who go out with their friends or young families with kids. Very, very big market. And that will grow to about 62 million by 2030, by 2032 as projected now. You see the population natin now, it's now manageable at 1.1% compared to 3.7 before. Okay, what's the importance of this? What's the relevance of this? If you've noticed, families have been smaller, unlike our generation or the previous generation, wherein we have 10, 12 siblings. Now, one or two kids. No? It's because real estate has also played a big part of this in this one. Units have been very small. 2 bedrooms at 48 or 30, 1 bedroom at 22, 28. You see, families, parang mga fish, when you put them in a smaller bowl or aquarium, they don't grow to their maximum potential. Same thing. Nag-adapt yung families natin. We have a small space, then we have smaller families. So yun din yung effect ng real estate. The relevance of this population density is that you would know where the demand is, where there's a concentration. So what type of project, no? So you have a bigger concentration of population in this area, but then you have more limited land. So you would have an idea of what type of property to build there. Pero ang importante is saan growing? Where are the growing regions? No? So where's the growing population? So aside from the National Capital Region, Region 4A really leads the way. 4A and Region 3. So meron ka ng population. Again, this is now if you're planning to develop, if you're planning to do sales, saan area mas maraming kliyente. So aside from the other regions, if you want to focus, 4A and 3. Largest population pa rin, C4A, and continues to grow. And what age? Okay. Kung malaki population but too old, then dependent. I mean, hindi na masyadong productive, especially lalo naman doon sa younger, 0 to 9, expense pa yun. But then kung saan malakas yung 25 to 64, which is the working age, then you see productivity. That big age group in those regions, very productive. Now, productive lang sila kung may trabaho. Di ba? Is there commerce? Is there opportunity? Is there business? You will see later. Tignan mo din dito. You have growth. Don't be misled by meron sa 9.3 growth, 8.15. But you see kung gaano kalaki yung real GDP na regional GDP. See, it's still NCR, Calabarzon, Region 3, and Region 4A. So you have people with money in this business. So there's commerce there. So there's a big potential. So may pera, may population, may working population, and what else? Another thing is that OFW naman. Okay, OFW. A lot of us, and real estate business has been sustained by the OFWs even during the global financial crisis in 2008, and also those who were prepared to capture this market during the worst pandemic really made money because of these OFWs. OFWs natin, even during the worst lockdown, 2020, it didn't even go down 1%. It just went down by about 0.8%. And then the following year, it grew by 7%. That's how strong that is. Now, so ano ngayon relevance on? Try to find out. So you have to find out where these OFWs are coming from. So before the pandemic, the distribution is about 19% from 4A and then about 13% from Region 3. And then it's now almost the same at 15 to 16%. So anong relevance nun? So these OFWs will now, where do you think they will be sending money? Dun sa regions nila. And they will be spending also on food, shelter, clothing. So there's a lot of money going around in those areas. So there's commerce then. So may population, may trabaho, may pera, may padala. And the age range again, always emphasizing the age range natin. So another thing na pinakita ko when I showed earlier, one of the factors will be tourism. Tourism plays a very important role. Pero anong klaseng tourism? Okay, very, very interesting. when you think of foreign and domestic tourism, halos pantay. See, Region 4A and Region 7 both have more matured international airports, so that's also one of the keys, and also the attractions in the area. So for foreign, very sustainable naman natin, especially from South Korea. No? Yung nakalagay dito na United States of America. So South Korea, ang tourists natin are South Koreans. But from United States of America, it doesn't necessarily have to be all Americans. It also includes the balikbayans that we have who are returning to the Philippines. So very important when it comes to tourism. If you have a project and you'd like to target tourists, you see the contribution, the size of domestic tourism as compared to the contribution of the foreign tourists. If your project is heavily dependent on foreign tourists, it's somehow seasonal. Number two, it's very sensitive to let's say negative advisories. Isang announcement lang, cancel that ng flight, cancel that ng reservation. Very important. So make your projects geared towards domestic tourists and mas sustainable yan. Mas sustainable even. Furthermore, if you want a bigger market, yung drivable, maybe 2 hours, max 3 hours. 3 hours kasi you'll really have to stay there for about 3 days, 4 days to make it worth the trip. But if you have projects within 1 hour, 1.5 hours, drivable, then in a market where it has a matured tourism market, then you have a good project, more sustainable. You'll see the difference. Kita mo kung how fast nag-rebound yung domestic tourism natin from 2020. This is 2022. Right now, almost pantay na tayo. While for Philippine tourism, although good news naman, we were just targeting 4.6 last year, and we did about 5.4, which is good. Which means there's really that revenge travel. So for 2024, nagbago ba? Did it change? Did the drivers change? Still the same. See, that's my point. That's my point. If you know the drivers, then you can really, you can already see the trends. You can really see the trends even without this one. So property prices somehow improved na last year. The big players, one thing you'll notice about the big players, that very few launches in the city, but guess where they are going? Okay, this one was discussed earlier. Okay. Yung tourism natin, as mentioned earlier, has exceeded the expectations last year, and it's still improving. And we're just talking about foreign tourism here now. See what the experts are saying. Sabi nga ni Licho last year, the residential sector has room to grow in 2024. Pero ang nakikita niya is that the developers are moving in locations outside Metro Manila. Two things, in the fringes, in the outskirts. One, there's more space for your peso. Two, because of three influences then. One is infrastructure, very much improved infrastructure, and then the technology, and then logistics. Now you can do things, you can still be productive, even if you're not in Metro Manila. Before, there was what you call the centripetal migration, because we had no choice. All the work opportunities, entertainment, education were in the city. And wala kang masyadong transportation, The infrastructure was really bad, communication was really bad. So we had to squeeze in doon. But now, because of the improvement in mass transportation, infrastructure, technology, logistics, there is what you call the centrifugal migration to the outskirts, to the fringes. And you can be productive. Plus leisure, okay? And according to Colliers, I think si Cabalenzo, we will be discussing this also later, that they have also observed and they're encouraging launching of resort-themed projects outside Metro Manila. Why? Because of the population that I mentioned to you earlier. Because of that segment, the 20 to 40, the very mobile segment for domestic tourism, that has a very big potential. Airbnb is going to really be very, very dynamic in these coming years. So, sabi naman on my home, Philippine real estate trends to watch out. Same thing, from vertical to horizontal properties, which started also during the pandemic. You've heard that prices in the outskirts, especially those with, let's say, we call it the rifts and the ridges, so the mountains and the beaches, they have gone up more than 200, 300%. Now, again, they're looking at more resort or leisure-themed projects outside Metro Manila. Now they're saying that we've seen that in 2020 because Havitas is also very heavy on research. We've seen these trends. That's the reason why we took step na rin on that direction earlier. So, key strategies both for developers and for practitioners: focus. Just focus on your area. Just focus on your market. Just focus on your niche, because you want to build your brand. You want to be identified as a specialist. You have to build your brand. Right now, the environment is too noisy. A lot of people are in this industry, and you have to build your brand, build your name. You have your corporate brand, but you have to build your personal brand. Your knowledge is your edge. So you invest in updating yourselves every day. There's a lot of bad news happening, and that's what the newspaper sells. No? But you have to arm yourselves with good news, positive developments, updates, developments in that affects real estate. And this is what you share with your clients, or with your agents, or with your salespeople. You know? You can find all the positive news in Real Estate News.ph. Build your communities, build your tribe, build your network, build your business, build your teams. Hindi na pwede. A lot of brokers are independent, freelancer. Okay? Why? Actually, it's very difficult to build a team. Try recruiting 5, 10, 20. It's super, super difficult. Why? If you do not give value to the people who you want to be accredited with you, they will not join you. Is this your license? No, they will not join you. You have to provide them with brand, with system, with technology, with office, with training, with a network. Then they will join you. See, it's difficult, very, very difficult to recruit, especially now. Have your online presence. Whether you're young, you're old, it's no reason, no, I'm not techie. Hire someone. Okay. Be present online. If you do not exist online, you do not exist. Okay. Build your online presence. Invest in marketing, not just in advertising, not just in boosting. Okay. Hindi na pwede, sa akin bibili yan, mga kaibigan ko, matagal ko ng customer yan, matagal ko ng client yan. Sometimes, very rare that it happens now. But remember, whoever gets into the phone of your client, who gives information dun sa phone ng client mo, then they get that business. Make use of AI in your marketing. Make use of AI in lead generation. Make use of AI in your branding. Make use of AI ChatGPT in sometimes responding to your client. In your designs, you can use other AI tools. With Journey, we're using the Journey also in our planning. Now, also to improve your online presence for let's say for real estate news, since I don't have the time anymore to shoot YouTube videos and read the news for you, I've created, and you'll be seeing it next month, my own avatar to do it for me.
Real and in person. 新年快乐！祝愿你在龙年2024里充满喜悦、健康和成功。Bagong taon sa inyong lahat. Salamat sa patuloy na pagtangkilik sa Real Estate News Philippines.
Okay, that's just an example of how you can also just improve your presence and also improve your online presence and manage your time. We all have very limited time, so you have to think of ways on doing more things focused on real estate or focused on whatever your business is, and be more productive. Okay, so sorry if I exceeded the time limit, but thank you very much. I hope I was able to share some useful insights.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Andy Mañalak or Kabelen. Sir, thank you
Hi.
so much. We'll have you back po later on our online forum. So see you later, sir. Now let's proceed with our other sponsors, our AVPs of our sponsors.
Okay, we're back. And for the second topic for this 2024 real estate outlook and prospect, I'd like to commend our first speaker, Sir Andy, for giving us historical and current data. Parang mentorship yung kanyang discussion because you have to really build on your networks and all your efforts in creating your own market and brand. That is very reflective of what he has done and achieved in his own respect. So, Sir Andy, I commend you on that. And next, may I already call on again our member from Nrea Cebu chapter. Nako, ang sarap ng danggit dyan, no? Miss Vanessa Salvador to introduce our second big speaker.
Thank you again, Sir Archie. So good morning once again, everyone. Allow me please to introduce our final speaker for today, who is so much of a familiar name and face, not just to me, but also to the rest of the entire real estate industry. He is the head of research division of Colliers International Philippines. He covers office, residential, retail, leisure, and industrial segments and conducts macroeconomic analysis regularly and assesses the impact of economic growth to the real estate sectors. He handles client engagement through market overview presentations, through equity analysts, property investors, and real estate firms. He has become quite a familiar face in the property news circles as his reports have been featured in national news programs and broadsheets and through regular Colliers review column in Inquirer Property. He leads his voice to the most pressing issues in the Philippine real estate sector. I am pleased to present to you a good friend of mine, Mr. Joey Roy BONDOC. Morning, Joey.
Good morning. Good morning, Vam. And good morning to Nrea. And thank you for inviting me this morning. So nice to see you, Vam, online. I only saw her during my Cebu trip.
Yeah, nice to see you, Joey.
Nice to see you here, Vam, online. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me now proceed with my discussion. So we're seeing a lot of very good prospects for the real estate market. And overall, we believe that the Philippine economy, especially its recovery after what we saw in 2020 and 2021, remember when we contracted by about 9.5%, so meaning no growth, and we even decelerated. But right now we're growing at a steadier pace. And in fact, if you look at 2023 here, we grew by 5.6%. And this pace of growth is encouraging. Why? Because the Philippines in 2023, last year, was the fastest growing economy in Southeast Asia. So imagine that we even outpaced Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, which are very competitive Asian peers. Now, one key plank, key fundamental of this recovery is the money sent home by Filipinos working abroad. So remittances recorded $37 billion last year. So that's a total remittances sent home by Filipinos working abroad. And this is a very good news. Why? Because this is a record high, the highest remittances sent home by Filipinos deployed overseas. And another good news, the central bank is forecasting these remittances to grow by 3% this year. So again, if you think about absolute terms, that's about another $38 billion that will be injected to the Philippine economy. And of course, that will continue to fuel residential requirements of Filipino families across the country. And if you look at deployment, National Capital Region, Calabar Zone, Central Visayas, Davao region, and Western Visayas. So 1, 2, 3, 6 regions accounting for about 60% of total OFW deployment. So again, if you look at these regions here, it's no longer surprising to see these regions really dominating in terms of property development. So where are developers acquiring parcels of developable land? Well, aside from National Capital Region, you see them aggressively expanding in Central Luzon, in Calabarzon, um, their land banking in Bulacan, in Pampanga, in Tarlac. Of course, you have the new Clark City in Capas, right? And then Calabarzon, you have Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, the usual, the prime suspects, and the key property investment destinations outside of Metro Manila. Western Visayas, of course, you have the likes of Iloilo, Davao City, of course, and then Cebu, which remains the largest residential hub outside of Metro Manila, and they continue to corner a lot of investments from developers, including the major ones and even the homegrown ones. And VAM is based in Cebu, and of course, she probably sees all the aggressive activities being conducted right now by major property firms in Cebu. Central Visayas region. The problem is inflation is still high. So if you look at 2023, average inflation was 6%. And the good news is it's starting to decelerate. It's starting to cool down. January of 2024, inflation was at 2.8%. The basic interest rate remains at 6.5%. So the central bank already said that if inflation remains within the 2 to 4% band, the central bank will likely cut interest rates. And again, that is a good news, a positive news for the property market, because lower interest rates result in more competitive mortgage rates, and that will definitely stoke the demand for residential units across the country, especially for the mid-income, lower mid-income, upper mid-income. So you have 3.2 to 7, then 7 to 12 million pesos per residential unit. And you have end users and investors of these residential units that are very sensitive to interest rate, mortgage rate movements. Again, the good news is that unemployment is at its lowest. So 3.1%. That is the latest unemployment figure, making the Philippines now almost at par with Southeast Asian economies, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, that have sub 3% unemployment rate. Of course, an unemployment of 2% practically means full employment for the entire economy. Again, I always highlight this. No recovery story will be complete without infrastructure spending. And obviously, from this slide, the Philippine government has been allocating what, 5 to 6% of the country's GDP on infrastructure. And that translates to about 1.1 trillion pesos every year. That is allotted on infrastructure spending. Previously, we weren't spending much, only about 2-3% of our country's GDP. That was our average from 2010 to 2016. 2.2% of the country's GDP allotted on infrastructure. And I would say that that is measly. And that is not encouraging. But since the Duterte administration assumed office, we saw substantial allocation of a budget on infrastructure development across the country. And if you look at the global competitiveness and how we rank versus other Asian economies, other key countries globally, we want to make sure that we're part of top 1/3, top 50% of all economies surveyed. Why? Because we want to make sure that the Philippines remains on the investment radar of a lot of investors, of a lot of foreign companies. And currently, we are faring disappointingly, but we want to make sure that we're part of top 1/3, top 50%, so that we attract a lot of manufacturing investments, generate a lot of employment, livelihood opportunities, especially in the countryside. So we are getting there. We're starting to see ramped up infrastructure allotment, ramped up infrastructure allocation and construction across the Philippines. Subway, which is the biggest infrastructure project that will be completed in the Philippines, will be completed by 2029. And in fact, it was all over the news yesterday. I saw some updates, and this is JICA funded. And aside from a subway, I'll be discussing some other infrastructure projects lined up by the government, including this Australia Pantaleon Bridge, which was completed in July of 2021. MRT3 rehabilitation completed also last year. NLEX SLEX Connector Road connected or completed in 2023. So, of course, it will have substantial impact on the commuting, transportation of employees, of businessmen from Metro Manila traveling down south, southern Luzon provinces of Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, and even those up north, Pampanga, Bulacan, and Tarlac. Parex, Pasig River Expressway, this is by the SMC Group, due to be completed in 2027. Again, this is the major, massive project. So all these humongous adjectives are definitely a big ticket item that is in the pipeline and due to be completed in 2029. It will improve connectivity between all the business hubs in Metro Manila, from northern Metro Manila all the way to Nrea Terminal 3. So imagine the ease of access of travel that it will foster across Metro Manila. It covers 35 kilometers. Again, this is a subway rail line, the first here in the Philippines. And who knows, if we see the successful completion, we might see other subways also being completed in other metropolitan areas across the Philippines. So let me now shift to the office segment. And this is a major demand driver for the residential sector. We were positively encouraged by the latest Metro Manila demand figures as of 2023. I'll discuss that in detail later, but overall transactions improved compared to 2021 and what we posted in 2022. Another good news is that we were able to avert reaching a vacancy of 20%. So while vacancy is still inching up in Metro Manila, we were able to avert getting into the 20% mark. Okay, so again, that is a positive indicator. While that's still elevated compared to, for example, pre-pandemic vacancy across Metro Manila of 5% and then about 9.5% in 2020. That is still a very good indicator because it only indicates that we're still seeing a stable demand from BPOs, even the POGO companies, especially Southeast Asian POGOs, are coming back, although not the POGOs we saw from 2017 to 2019 that would occupy what, 20,000, 30,000 square meters, an entire building in a single transaction. But vacancy remains elevated. And why do we see this? Mainly because of new supply, new office buildings being completed across Metro Manila. Of course, Quezon City is one of those major business districts that we will see substantial completion up to 2027. But as I discussed earlier and as I highlighted, 2023, we recorded better activities, better transactions across Metro Manila, more than 800,000 square meters compared to 420,000 square meters back in 2021. So nearly double the transactions that we recorded at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. Again, a positive indicators that you're seeing demand coming from traditional companies, third-party outsourcing companies, call centers, shared service, the captives, and again, the offshore gaming companies, POGOs. A key highlight here is that we're seeing government agencies occupying a lot of office space at this point. So they have been transferring from old facilities, old buildings, to newer buildings and are taking advantage of new office buildings completed, and these are high quality office spaces, LEED, Verde, Green, EDGE certified office spaces, premium LEED office towers, and developers, landlords have been providing or offering these office spaces at a discount, and some landlords even provide fit out allowance. So that's how the market shifted in Metro Manila. So we continue to see transactions from multinational companies, BPO companies, co-working space facilities. So you have the likes of Regius that are occupying office spaces and buildings near the residential areas of a lot of employees that are buildings located within a midpoint of the residential area and the central business district. Again, logistics companies, even government agencies and embassies also looking for high quality, newer office spaces. So again, you have a lot of transactions being cornered by sustainable green buildings that have LEED certification, platinum, gold, Verde certification, and they have been transferring to these newer, high quality, sustainable office spaces. So transactions, again, in the Bay Area, we recorded sizable deals from offshore gaming companies, Fort Bonifacio, JP Morgan, Quezon City, TELUS, Makati CBD, Chevron, and then Ortigas CBD, Emerson. So these are transactions that we are seeing across Metro Manila. Again, it's a mix of BPOs as well as shared service companies occupying office spaces and fueling the demand for newer high-quality office spaces being offered by developers. Now, an interesting point here is that overall, Metro Manila vacancies at 19.3%. But look at three key business hubs here. I'm talking about Ortigas Center, Fort Bonifacio, and Makati CBD. What can you conclude from their vacancy rates? They are having vacancies, or they recorded vacancies that are much lower compared to the average in Metro Manila, which was at 19.3%. Ortigas Center at 13.4, Fort Bonifacio at 14.1, Makati at 9.4%. While these are still higher compared to pre-pandemic vacancies, because Makati used to enjoy a vacancy of sub 1%, a Bay Area sub 5%. These three business districts are enjoying vacancies that are below the average office vacancy in Metro Manila. And some landlords in selected buildings in these business districts are able to command premium rents. And again, that is a very good indicator for landlords that are concentrated in these three major business districts. So again, a vacancy across Metro Manila, 19.3%. That's as of end 2023. And our forecast is that it will slightly inch up to 19.6%. Again, we're forecasting that we will still be able to avert the 20% vacancy for 2024 transactions in 2023 outside of Metro Manila. As you can see here, 209,000. And Cebu cornered more than half, about 113,000 square meters of office transactions that we recorded outside of Metro Manila. So in Cebu, you have the likes of Concentrix that are occupying substantial, sizable office spaces, Bacolod, Ubiquity, Laguna, AFNI, as well as OP316 Cagayan de Oro. So you have these BPO companies, shared service firms that are still occupying office spaces, even with the implementation of hybrid work arrangements. So let me now shift to your favorite sector, the residential segment. Overall, we're seeing a recovery in the secondary market, meaning rents and prices have been increasing, although at a marginal level compared to what we saw pre-COVID. We're seeing a lukewarm reselling market, and this is in the primary sector in Metro Manila, where we're no longer seeing launches amounting to 58,000 units. We're seeing much less. And I'll discuss that in detail later. And how are developers offsetting this lukewarm reception that they're seeing at this point? And again, developers have been trying to offset that by launching massive, humongous, expansive, not necessarily expensive, master plan communities, integrated townships outside of Metro Manila. So all over Metro Manila, we have 155,000 condominium units, and three major business districts cover 70% of this total supply. I'm talking about Makati, Fort Bonifacio, and then the Bay Area. Again, cornering 70% of total supply in the capital region. Bay Area still dominates, and it will cover a little over 60% of 11,300 condominium units that will be completed across Metro Manila for 2024. So after Bay Area, you have the likes of Ortigas, Fort Bonifacio, Makati CBD, and then Alabang that will chip in to the new supply. Now, 11,300 is pretty substantial. And why did I say so? Well, because if you look at the completion schedule across Metro Manila, that will be the biggest completion since 2017, when we saw 15,900 units completed during the year. So 11,300, that will be the biggest since 2017. And these are projects, I would just like to note that these are projects that were launched about 4 or 5 years ago at the height of the POGO demand in Metro Manila. And from 2024 up to 2026, there will be 8,000 new condominium units that will be completed. And just to provide context, that is much less than the nearly 13,000 condominium units turned over in Metro Manila every year from 2017 to 2019, again, a period that was positively influenced by the POGO demand across Metro Manila. An interesting case is if you look at the residential stock across Metro Manila, Bay Area used to play catch up, but it will now dominate by the third quarter of this year. So if you look at this slide, in 2018, it outpaced the total number of condominium units in Ortigas CBD. Mid-2021, it overtook Makati CBD, meaning it now has the larger condominium supply compared to Makati CBD. And by 2024, third quarter of this year, it will now have the largest residential stock across the capital region, 44,000 compared to 43,800 in Fort Bonifacio. So again, it used to play catch up. By this year, it will dominate Metro Manila in terms of residential supply. Vacancy is declining, but we are not out of the woods yet. Again, because 11,300 in 2024, that is pretty sizable. And we're projecting vacancy to still increase to about 17.7% this year. Almost near the 17.9% peak vacancy that we posted back in 2021 at the height of COVID disruptions across Metro Manila. If you look at vacancy 2017 to 2019, we were at what, 10, 11%. That increased in 2020, of course, because of COVID disruption. And then 2021, 17.9%, the record high. But let's see, 2024, because of substantial completion in the market, vacancy might again inch up And we're now nearing the record high vacancy across Metro Manila, which was 17.9 back in 2021. Prices have been increasing, but I want to highlight here the difference in terms of residential pricing. So those that are in the pre-selling versus secondary market, the price range or the difference in terms of price on a per square meter basis has been widening. And in fact, the gap even widened at the height of the pandemic in 2020 and 2021. So if you are an investor, this slide will probably provide a better guide. Will you buy a residential unit that is still in the pre-selling market and then flip it after the condo unit has been turned over? Or if you have the cash now, if you have the resources to buy now, will you buy a condominium unit that was, well, recently completed about 5 years ago, but being offered at a much lower price per square meter, 280,000, for example, in Rockwell versus 520,000 per square in the pre-selling market. In Makati, you average of 380,000. In fact, some projects even selling at more than 500,000 per square in the primary pre-selling market. But the average price right now, going rate in the secondary market is below 260,000 pesos. So this slide should provide an insight and better guide you on your next investment move. So rents have also been improving mainly because we see expats returning to the Philippines, especially those from the outsourcing sector, logistics, manufacturing companies, even multilateral aid agencies. So yeah, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, that are looking for residential units to rent across Metro Manila. We're seeing stable demand in Fort Bonifacio, Makati, Ortigas, and Rockwell, especially for bigger cuts. And those that were recently renovated, those that are offering, for example, improved kitchen, bathroom, they are getting a lot of queries at this point. Promos and discounts remain very attractive, so up to 17% discount on TCP, especially if the investor acquires the unit through spot cash payments, and then early move-in and easy move-in promos, 2.5 to 10% of total TCP. That's a required down payment, and then the investor will be able to move in. What we've been seeing is that developers have been also implementing extended payment terms. So up to 84 months, no longer the 48 or 60 months that we used to see pre-pandemic. And developers have been doing this because premium pricing in the pre-selling sector, as I discussed earlier, remains in the market. So some also providing free appraisal fees, smart home packages, and gift certificates. So some recently launched projects. Hotel 101. This is in Libis, Bridgetown by Hotel of Asia in Quezon City. Torre Loyola West Tower by Torre Lorenzo. 6.9 million a unit, 214,000 pesos per square. Uptown Modern by Mega World. So look at the down payment term, 84 months. So an example of a project where we see extended down payment, 25 million pesos per unit. So definitely a luxury residential unit due to be completed in 2031. Now, I want to share with you some insights we got from our previous surveys. So when we asked our respondents how important are green, sustainable features, open spaces, well, none said it's not important. Almost all saying it's critical, it's important, it's nice to have. Almost 100% saying that these green, sustainable features are definitely in, and being sustainable being a sustainable residential development is really important, especially for them to be able to enjoy all the open spaces. Good ventilation is a key preference of more than 80% of our respondents. That's why developers have been launching these leisure resort themed projects outside of Metro Manila, Brittany, Lanco, Costa del Jamilo, Megaworld, DMCI, launching projects in Cavite, Batangas, Palawan. You also have Cebu Land Masters, Damosalan, Torre Lorenzo, launching all these leisure resort themed projects priced at what 150,000, 230,000 pesos per square, which are doing very well. Take-up rate of more than 80%. Some almost sold out just after 3 months of being launched in the market, especially this Solmera Coast project by DMCI in Palawan, in Batangas rather, San Juan, Batangas. So 94% sold third quarter. So within that quarter of it being launched in the market, it was almost sold out already. Oceanfront Premier, this is by Megaworld. This is in San Vicente, Palawan, which is thriving tourist destination. So price per square 230,000 and the price per unit 12 million pesos, 18% sold as of second quarter. It was launched June of 2023. We're seeing flattish yields. Yields peak 2013 7%, but now they're at about 4%, mainly because prices continue to increase, but rents have been growing at a more flattish rate. So according to the Philippine Central Bank, prices of residential units across the Philippines grew by 12.9%. And that is slightly slower compared to average increase of residential price of 14.1, which we recorded, or the central bank recorded in the second quarter of 2023. What really dominated the increase in prices were horizontal units, including duplex, single attached, and single detached residential units. In terms of loans granted, well, no surprise here, but much of the loans granted or released were cornered by the National Capital Region, Calabarzon, and Central Luzon. In fact, covering 75% of total loans granted during the period third quarter of 2023. And again, these loans were used to acquire single houses, single detached, single attached, as well as condominium units. Again, in the pre-selling market across Metro Manila, only 25,000 units were launched in 2023. And as you can see here, the lowest since 2013. We're no longer seeing launches of 54,000 and take-up of 58,000. Only 23,000 units were taken up back in 2023. So let's see if this recovers in 2024. If there will be interest rate and mortgage rate cuts, definitely that will have a positive impact on residential demand, especially in the pre-selling sector in Metro Manila. Much of the launches coming from the lower mid-income, 3.2 to 7 million, followed by upper mid-income, 7 to 12 million. So it's the same trend that we're seeing in terms of demand. But luxury, which represents condominium units priced starting at 20 million pesos, still covers about 11% of total demand in the market. And let's see if this further increases. But outside of Metro Manila, we're seeing stable demand even for these luxury residential units. We have the likes of Cebu, the likes of Bacolod, even Pampanga. We're seeing a lot of upscale and luxury projects being launched by developers. So they're able to command also premium pricing in these key locations, key residential hubs outside of Metro Manila. The most attractive price segment per sub-location, of course, differs. In Quezon City, that's lower mid-income. So that's about 3.2 to 7 million pesos per unit. In Fort Bonifacio, well, the luxury segment is king, 20 million pesos per condominium unit, covering about 70% of total demand. So it's the most attractive price segment, but also mainly because most of the projects, new launches in Fort Bonifacio, also coming from the luxury segment, priced at least 20 million pesos per unit. Makati upper mid-income, so 7 to 12 million pesos per unit. So this is the price segment that dominated in 2023. Some recently launched projects in Metro Manila, fourth quarter of this year, Anisa Heights by DMCI. This is in Pasay City, Belara Tower 3 by Empire East, and Pasig City Observatory, Sora Tower by Federal Land. This is in Mandaluyong, Oriana South Tower by DMCI. This is in Quezon City. And then the second tower of the Velaris Residences, so a joint venture between Robinson's Land and Hong Kong Land. So this is priced at 44 million a unit, definitely a luxury condominium project. So again, we're seeing massive launches being launched. Ayala in Angeles City, that's Centrala, 48 hectares. Mega World with its Northwind Global City in Bulacan, banking on the development of the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan. Of course, you have Mega World also launching in Palawan, and then Rockwell Land in Bacolod, as well as Cebu, and then Federal Land with its River Park project with Nomura Real Estate Group in Cavite. A provision on horizontal launches and take-up recovered starting 2021. So only 21,000 units sold in the pre-selling market in 2021, recovered to 29,000 in 2023. Prices of lot-only projects have been appreciating, and this is indicative of stable, very strong demand for lot-only projects in Cavite, Laguna, Batangas. So three key residential hubs outside of Metro Manila, and focused mainly in the Cavite, Laguna, Batangas region. So some survey results I would like to share. So one question that we posed asked our respondents, what is your topmost consideration when buying a condominium unit in the CBD? So they want everything to be within reach. More than 60% saying they want proximity to offices, to malls, other amenities, support facilities, clinics, hospitals, even schools. And 55% saying they are likely to buy a residential unit for investment. And then again, almost all of our respondents saying green, sustainable, open spaces are important. Essentially, no one saying it is not nice to have. And top two features when buying a residential unit, of course, good ventilation and resilient systems, redundant power connection, even redundant internet connection. So prices have been recovering, as you can see here, mainly because the Philippine economy, as represented by yellow line, is also improving. So let's see if prices further increase beyond 2023, starting 2024, and even beyond 2024, because property market in the Philippines is cyclical. So as you can see, periods of uncertainty, global health and economic crisis, the prices would correct. And we saw that at the height of Asian financial crisis, H1N1 outbreak, global financial crisis, SARS outbreak, and of course, COVID-19. But because of the improving economic employment situation in the Philippines, we're now seeing average prices of condominium units also recovering. Residential trends, of course, some gradual recovery. Again, 2022, 2023, we're seeing a marginal increase in rents and prices, more flexible payment terms being offered by developers. And of utmost importance now are green spaces, smart home technology, more open spaces, and connectivity to infrastructure. Everything should be within reach. That's a key consideration for a lot of residential investors. But why are they investing in a residential unit? Mainly because of less volatility compared to the stock market. Rents have also been improving, average of 4% every year since 2008, and prices recovering by 8% every year since 2008. Of course, disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and 2021. But if you take those out, 2016 to 2019, average increase in prices was at 14%. So that is definitely a very good indicator still for the property market. It only proves why residential investment is a very good hedge against the increase in the price of commodities or inflation, as we call it, making property a very viable, attractive investment option, especially here in the Philippines, where, well, we don't have a lot of investment options, and the astute, the affluent, the luxury investors still prefer the property sector, the residential units, again, because they want to make sure that they are able to hedge against inflation. Key considerations when investing, of course, location, location, location. Will you be able to flip it after being turned over? Will you be able to rent it out to a BPO employee or to an expat? And developer track record. If the developer commits to turn it over, deliver your unit in 3 years, they should be able to do so. No ifs, no buts, and they should be able to complete the project as scheduled. So let me now highlight what do we need to look out for in 2024. In the residential sector, we will see substantial completion this year, 11,000 new units. There will be tempered increase in prices and the rents. And then we're seeing a more pronounced shift from vertical to horizontal, with a lot of developers launching massive integrated communities, master planned projects across the Philippines. OFWs will continue to fuel the demand for affordable to mid-income residential units. So that's the 2.5 to 12 million pesos per residential unit. In the retail sector, we will see more mall space across Metro Manila, 600,000 square meters of new mall space. So definitely a lot of mall options, malls to choose from. And also developers have been renovating, innovating their mall spaces. And we're seeing a lot of foreign retailers, foreign brands entering the Philippines because of the foreign liberalization amendments approved by the government. Industrial sector, we still see this being robust, especially with the completion of 100 hectares of new industrial parks, spaces in Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, and Japanese companies continue to expand, locate in the Philippines, Murata, Nidec, even Texas Instruments, allocating $1 billion to expand its facilities in Clark and Baguio. Hotel sector, so there'll be 5,100 new hotel rooms that will be completed for 2024 this year, and that is a record high. And rates will continue to increase. Occupancy 68% from only about 25% back in 2020, and 42% of the 5,100 new hotel rooms are foreign brands. So imagine that. We will have the new Pullman, first Pullman hotel in the Philippines, the new Mandarin in Makati Central Business District, a lot of Citadines, a lot of Accor brands expanding, not just in Metro Manila, but all over the Philippines, in New Clark City, in Clark, and in Subic even. So aggressive launch of new hotel projects across the country. Office, again, we're projecting the completion of 600,000 square meters of new office space in Metro Manila, net take-up of 336,000. Rents will increase marginally, especially in key business districts where vacancy is lower compared to the average in Metro Manila of 19.6%. That's our forecast for 2024. But again, what has been dictating leasing strategies of developers is the flight to value, flight to quality, flight to sustainability, transferring to newer office spaces and occupying all these green, LEED, platinum LEED certified office spaces across Metro Manila. So that concludes my presentation. I think it's 11:30 already. Again, if you want to be updated, you may read my columns, Inquirer, Business World, and of course, Philippine Star. And please check out our Colliers Insights podcast. This is our Spotify channel. So you may scan this and please give us a follow. So again, thanks to Nrea for inviting me, for inviting Colliers, and for this very insightful discussion. And hope you learned a thing or two from my presentation this morning. So thank you again, Nrea.
Thank you very much again, Sir Joey BONDOC, another Kapampangan who really established himself in this very, very lucrative uh, research facility, which is Colliers. I think you've been helping a lot of investors and keeping up with your data very up to date. And we wish napakahaba ng ating discussion and I hope the Q&A may mga masasagot tayong pang mga katanungan. So let's pause for a break for some sponsors. Do we have sponsors?
All right. Good morning once again. And we are now sa pinaka-exciting part ng ating online business meeting, which is the open forum. And to help us navigate itong open forum, we would like to call on our moderators for today. Our first moderator is the Vice President for Internal Affairs of Nrea, a real estate broker, appraiser, and consultant, Mr. Joby Francis Tupas. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
And one of our moderators as well is the past chairman and president of NREA Advisor, Mr. Benigno T. Cabrieto Jr. Good morning, Sir Benny. And
Good
also
morning.
we would like to call back our guest speakers for today, Sir Andy MAñALAC and Sir Joey BONDOC. All right, our moderators, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Sir Benny. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jovi. Yeah. I'm happy that the choice of our speakers, because first Andy touched on the macroeconomic indicators, especially the demand side and the key strategies how to take advantage of this demand. Our second speaker, Roy BONDOC, also touched on the macroeconomic demand side, the supply side also, the infra, and the take-up rates. Now, my first question is to Mr. Joey BONDOC. Actually, I consolidated these two questions. As growth from Metro Manila continues to spill over outside the National Capital Region, what are the regions which show fresh and promising opportunities in terms of growth in both economic and real estate landscape? The other question is about Clark. What do you think of are they transferring to Clark right now? Are we transferring to Clark right now, or the trend?
Okay. If you look at the regions outside of Metro Manila, so it's the usual suspects. So you have Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, specifically. Then outside of Luzon, of course, you have Central Visayas, Western Visayas, Iloilo, Bacolod, Cebu. So those from these two key regions, Central and Western Visayas. And then, of course, Davao region. Even Northern Mindanao. So Cagayan de Oro is also a key location where developers have been land banking. And in fact, it's an emerging BPO hub. So these are definitely key locations that are cornering the demand from developers in terms of land banking, in terms of these property firms looking for available parcels of developable. And also Palawan, I would add, because of the development of all these leisure resort themed projects. And then I think in terms of Clark, previously, we saw developers, especially those that are targeting Korean investors. They developed condominium units within Clark Freeport, and I think those projects are also recording very good take-up. If you extend further north, so you have the new Clark City, but that is already part of Capas in Tarlac, and it is an emerging industrial location, North Central Luzon. Also, you have a lot of developers land banking there for their industrial parks, warehouses, and I believe some developers are also looking at the new Clark City, where they can launch house and lot as well as lot only projects. So again, these are key locations that we definitely need to watch out for moving forward.
Okay, so thank you very much, Joey. So this question is for our NREA advisor, Mr. Andy MAñALAC. I didn't know you can speak Mandarin now. Maybe you studied during the pandemic.
You cannot speak any language using your AI, di ba?
Yes, Sir Andy. Sir Andy, regarding the adoption by many companies of artificial intelligence, are we expecting this to be the new trend for real estate marketing in the coming years? And do you think this will change the conduct of our housing caravans in the various regions of the Philippines, as well as our caravans and
promotions internationally during real estate marketing events?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Parang, again, one thing is that it will not replace us, but then it will enhance whatever we're doing. Di ba? Kumbaga, even medical profession, engineering, will have to be AI assisted. AI assisted. Like our marketing, lead generation, other agents, if you notice, maybe you know some people who really do not speak English that well, but when they post on their social media, ang lalalim, no? I mean, ang gaganda ng caption, ang gaganda ng post, but they're using already ChatGPT. So, in describing in doing their videos, in describing their properties, it has been very, very helpful already. In our case, like for example, when we're discussing among ourselves with my partners, and then I describe a certain concept that I want to show, you know, before I cannot make other people imagine it. So we just describe it using Midjourney, and then okay, voila! In about 3 seconds, you'll see the options. Oh yeah, this is how it should look like.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
wait, just to add on kay Joey about Clark, another portion there that's very exciting now is the may Clark Development Corporation and then the new Clark City. The SIAC, or the Clark International Airport, is also another very exciting area, and then the Aeropolis, the Aero City that they're building around it, because there are more flights now in Clark, cheaper flights, and they're also making it as the central logistics hub, and the food hub also. So if this happens, the belly of the airplanes will be loaded more, and it may even be able to offer lower flights, lower airfares. So what's exciting is that they're encouraging now locators within the airport city to build there.
Okay, thank you, Andy. My next question is to Mr. Joey BONDOC. This is about the Bay Area. As you know, there are new reclamation projects in Manila Bay. Some say it's about 2,000 hectares, some say 3,000 hectares or more. And you know, this figure is already as big as one city like Makati. And it is equivalent to about 7 or 10 BGC-sized projects to the high-end market. This will contribute about 2,000 hectares. It's about 20 million square meters. Or if you use a floor area ratio of about 3 times to 4 times, this will contribute 60 million to 80 million square meters of floor area. This will, of course, affect the the high-end market. Or how do you consider this in your forecast?
I think it will affect Metro Manila in terms of potential price increase because there will be substantial completion in the Bay Area just for this year. Again, it will overtake Fort Bonifacio, 44,000 units versus 43,800 in Fort Bonifacio. And again, we're seeing correction in prices already and even rents in the Bay Area. So if we further add to that supply in the Bay Area, that will be a concern because will this result in further correction, erosion of rents and prices in that business district? Because you still see stable demand in Makati CBD, in Rockwell, Ortigas, Fort Bonifacio. But because of substantial aggressive delivery completion of condominium units in the Bay Area, especially at the height of the POGO demand from 2017 to 2019, and even aggressive launches during that period, we're now seeing these condominium units being completed in the Bay Area. And in a single year, Bay Area would account for what, 60% of total units completed in a single year, 60% of 11,000 units to be completed this year. So just imagine that in 2024, more than 6,700 to be added to the residential stock in the Bay Area. So that will be a major concern. Note that the Bay Area already has the highest vacancy if you talk about residential, office, and retail mall market in Metro Manila. So will it still be viable to build more residential units or office towers in the Bay Area? I think they should take a closer look at the Bay Area and see if there will be demand that will be able to sustain take up for these new office and residential towers that will be coming online.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this next question is for Sir Andy and Mr. Joey. This came from one of our viewers right now here at our business forum. The question is, if you have 10 million pesos, if you have 100 million pesos, if you have 1 billion pesos, what investments will you make at this point in time? Let's start with Sir Andy. If you have 10 million, 100 million, and 1 billion pesos at this time, what and where will you invest it in?
I'll develop nice projects, especially, but not too big scale, but spread over the most famous leisure-oriented projects that we have. Low density, popular area, because we saw the potential now for projects which are active yielding assets. Right now in Metro Manila, tell me a project with the current prices now, selling prices, and the current rental rates, tell me a project that can generate positive cash flow. Right? So, especially on long-term rentals, long-term rates. Now, with the demographics that I mentioned earlier and the growth of this age group, which is very, very active and very good source for domestic tourism, short-term rentals for those leisure-oriented or resort-themed developments with low density in very, very popular areas, then that would be very promising. We all know that short-term rentals provide about 2-3 times compared to your long-term rents. No? So, yeah, from our end, that's what we'll do, yung provide more active yielding assets. So right price to the right market.
So Joey, how about you? If you have an investor who only has about 10 million pesos and another one who has about 100 million pesos, if you were that investor, where will you invest it in?
I think at this point, 10 million, if you are to invest in property, that will be too small. But I think 10 million, I can buy 3 to 4 house and lot units outside of Metro Manila, say in Bulacan or Pampanga. So those that are from the affordable segment. So you have horizontal developers that are really catering to that market, say OFW. And then perhaps you can resell those units to OFWs after those units have been turned over. 100 million or 1 billion, I would diversify and really look for other options aside from residential. I'd still buy, say, secondary, those completed condominium units already, but I'll not mention any developer. I'll definitely choose in key business districts, say Makati CBD, Rockwell Center, Fort Bonifacio, Ortigas Center. So I would buy condominium units and strata titled offices. So I'll invest both in office and residential, especially in those 3 key key business locations where office and residential vacancies remain manageable. So in those 3 key locations.
Can I add to what Joey mentioned? He's right. With 10 million, you know what you can buy in our area, especially my office is in the Bay City, you know. 1-bedroom unit, 27 square meters, 1-bedroom unit without parking. So that's for 10 million. But what we're building now is for less than 10 million, you'll get 100 square meter property with a private pool each unit with a private pool, no? Landed project, townhouse, 7.3 meters high, wide, floor-to-ceiling glass, porcelain color finishings, which you can rent out for 12 to 15,000 a night on Airbnb. You see the difference. With 2 parking slots pa yan. May plugging, sorry.
Sir Benny? You're on mute, Sir Benny. Sir Benny, you're on mute.
Sorry, yeah, I was muted. I said we were already prompted by that we already exceeded the time. So perhaps we can conclude this question and answer, and unless you still have one question to our presenters.
Maybe we can give our presenters one last summary, one last word, one last quote, or one last saying before we end this question and answer. Let's start with Sir Joey. Sir Joey.
Yeah, well, I would say that now is a good time to invest in property, especially because the Philippine economy is rebounding. Then you have stable demand drivers, OFW remittances still strong, and the Philippine economy is still standing on stable planks. Again, you have inflation that is manageable already at this point, and then there's some positivity, especially given the central bank's statement that if inflation remains within 2 to 4%, they might consider cutting interest rates. So again, this should provide optimism to the investor and end user market. So we need to bank on this economic growth and economic rebound that we're seeing in the market right now. We're still seeing some headwinds, meaning some factors that might affect the overall growth of the Philippine economy and property moving forward. But definitely there are opportunities and tailwinds, and we need to keep reaping those opportunities that we're seeing in the market. As real estate stakeholders, we should maximize those, especially with all the optimism that we're seeing right now. Developers also cashing in on these development opportunities, expanding outside of Metro Manila. And definitely there are a lot of lessons to be learned, not just from the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and 2021, but moving forward. And as we coast along this challenges and opportunities in the real estate sector.
Sir Andy.
Yeah, thanks. One is follow the market. It's not your comfort zone. You follow the market. Where is the market very active? You follow that. Maybe you might have to target a different location. But if that market is active, then go there. Number 2 is that offer your clients. I mean, you love your clients, so you offer your clients active yielding assets. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Well, you'll make commissions, but then your client will not make money. And then they'll be paying more for their amortizations than their rental income, recurring income. So, and also with a very high price, what capital appreciation can you still foresee, no, in the near future? So, let's be caring for our clients. Let's offer them active yielding assets.
Thank you very much to our speakers, Mr. Alejandro S. Mañalac and Mr. Joey Roy BONDOC.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kabalen. It's Pampanga Day yata today, no? Everybody's coming from Pampanga.
Yes. Yes, sir. Pati mga host, di ba?
Present.
Kapampangan represent.
Kapampangan speakers, Kapampangan hosts, and
Di ba?
semi-Kapampangan lovers here.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we move on now. Thank you very much to our speakers, our
Thank you very much.
moderators for the open forum. The time is really against us. We really want to extend you and have a 3-day seminar for this to tackle everything. But I guess we are really have to make a closure. But we will still present to you an AVP and the certificates of appreciation to our speakers. So hang on, please.
The past year has undoubtedly been challenging for everyone. But despite all the odds, we as Filipinos have always overcome hurdles through faith and ingenuity. Over the years, Golden Haven continues to provide quality service and is dedicated to helping our investors create lasting legacies. We are Golden Haven, the fastest growing memorial developer in the country today, the most complete death care service provider with world-class facilities. We strive to be the most sustainable memorial park developer, both in business terms and for the environment. We are always attuned to the times, and our agility to adapt to change has been our major asset. We are, and we will always be, the best in what we do. We are Golden Haven Memorial Parks, preserving memories, and building legacies.
All right, to present the certificates for our special guests and resource speakers, may we call on the NREA Board Vice Chair Lady, Ms. Ruth Marie Atienza. Ma'am?
Yes. Good noon to all. Thank you very much again to our very knowledgeable speakers. It was really a very informative morning, a day of learning, not only for real estate practitioners, but also to all the complementary industries and businesses of real estate. I would like now to read the text of our certificate of appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to in appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as special guest and resource speaker during the NREA Business Forum Online entitled 2024 Real Estate Outlook and Prospect on February 27, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by Consultant Imelda C. Magtotok, ENP, REB, REA, REC, and the Board Chair Lady of NREA. Our Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, who is the Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of the Board of Advisors. For Mr. Rizalito Red Rosales, our NREA National President, and Consultant Lourdes Bernadette B. Carlos, our Secretary General. We would like to present this. NREA proudly presents it to Mr. Joey Roy BONDOC and Mr. Alejandro S. MAÑALAC. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Ma'am Ruth. And to present the certificates for our moderators, let's call on the NREA past president and concurrent advisor, Architect Ronnie Biando. Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Ryan Dadula. And the certificate of appreciation, this certificate is proudly presented to Mr. Benigno T. Cabrieta Jr., past chairman and president and NREA advisor, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as moderator during the NREA Business Forum Online entitled 2024 Real Estate Outlook and Prospect on February 27, 2024 by Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, our Board Chair Lady, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of the Board of Advisors, Mr. Rizalito Red Rosales, the National President, and Consultant Bernadette B. Carlos, Secretary General. A grateful appreciation to you, Sir Benny. Please accept our e-certificate.
Thank you very much.
Likewise, another certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to Mr. Joey Francis Tupas, Vice President for Internal Affairs, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as moderator during the NREA Business Forum Online entitled 2024 Real Estate Outlook and Prospect on February 27, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Facebook Live. Again, signed by our Chair Lady Imelda Magtoto, Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of Board of Advisors, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, Mr. Rizalito Red Rosales, the National President, and Consultant Bernadette B. Carlos, Secretary General. Thank you, Sir Joby.
Thank you very much.
All right, and to present the certificates to us, let's call on the NREA Vice President for Internal Affairs, Sir Joby. Sir?
I think it's going to be Sir Red. Sir Red, will you be the one to present? Or
Sir Red. Sir Joby daw.
Okay. Sige. So, again, it's my privilege and honor to give out this certificate to our debonair and dashing dynamic duo, Mr. Archibald N. Baluyot, President of the Nrea Pampanga Chapter, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as MC during the Nrea Business Forum online entitled 2024 Real Estate Outlook and Prospect on February 27, 2024 by Zoom and Nrea Philippines Facebook Live, signed by Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, Board Chair Lady, signed by Mr. Rizalito Red Rosales, National President, signed by Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of Board of Advisors, and signed by Consultant Ludette Bernadette B. Carlos, Secretary General. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you,
Also,
sir.
the certificate is also given to the other dynamic duo, Mr. Nino Ryan N. Dadula, Secretary General of Nrea Pampanga Chapter, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as MC during the Nrea Business Forum online entitled 2024 Real Estate Outlook and Prospect on February 27, 2024 by Zoom and Nrea Philippines Facebook Live, signed by our Board Chair Lady, Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, our National President, Mr. Rizalito Red Rosales, our Chair Emerita and Chair Lady, Board of Advisors, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and our Secretary General, Consultant Ludette Bernadette B. Carlos. Thank you very much to the dynamic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Nrea. All right, press Archie.
Yes, and to finally close this webinar, we will call on our board chair lady to give her closing remarks, Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto.
Good day, everyone. It is with high hopes and optimism for our real estate this 2024. The real estate industry in the Philippines has expanded significantly due to the country's strong economy, increasing consumer purchasing power, sustainable and mixed-use developments, and the ongoing programs and infrastructure investments of our government. The National Real Estate Association, or NREA, aspires for growth in the real estate industry. Thank you, and more power to all our speakers, moderators, NREA officers, members, chapters, secretariat, fellow professionals, participants, and friends. We would like to invite you again to our March online business forum on artificial intelligence, or AI. On April, the updated infrastructure projects and programs in our country, and on May 25, our NREA Chairman's Cup Invitational Golf Tournament at Wakwa Country Club in Mandaluyong, and our NREA Disud National Convention on May 16 and 17 at Makati Sports Club with the theme NREA Realizing the Dream of a Thriving Real Estate Industry. See you all. Mabuhay, everyone. Cheers!
Thank you so